The construction industry in the UK has faced unprecedented challenges in recent years. The COVID-19 pandemic brought projects to a halt, disrupted supply chains, and tested the resilience of the sector. Despite these obstacles, the UK's construction industry has shown remarkable determination to growth. In today's programme, Executive TV will speak to leading companies within the sector to gain insight into their sustainability journeys, the challenges they face, and where the construction sector is heading in the next few years. Amara Property is an award-winning luxury property developer and interior designer that specialises in eco-friendly residential buildings using advanced technologies and sustainable materials.
Amara was founded 13 years ago. I felt at the time that there was probably a gap in the market for high-quality homes that were yet affordable, but and also sustainable. And that was pretty much the design philosophy, but just to start the company. And 13 years ago, built our first few apartments in Bushey, Hertfordshire, and we've never looked back since.
Machine Max specialises in equipment management solutions for the construction and mining industries by leveraging advanced IoT sensors and data analytics to provide real-time insights and actionable data.
The business vision for Machine Max is to create a platform and tools which can help our customers in enhancing the decision-making process for them. The way we do it is we ingest a lot of data. And our starting point has always been understanding what decisions customers are taking, what are the most important decisions in a prioritized way for them on an operations environment, whether it's construction or mining. Things like safety, things like productivity, things like sustainability, and what data is needed to achieve those decisions. I always say data, insights, actions. So starting from actions customers are taking and understanding what data is needed, we create the insights for them and help them take those decisions.
Forbo Flooring Systems specialises in high-quality, innovative flooring solutions for residential and commercial spaces, known for their durability, aesthetic appeal, and use of sustainable materials.
Sustainability's been actually at the heart of our organisation since the late 1980s. So really at that point, the organisation realised that the core product was very sustainable, and we really started to push that and develop that. So we have three core principles that we follow, which is renewability, it's transparency and circularity. So renewability is about our raw materials. Ideally, we use renewable raw materials. Transparency is about being open and measuring everything that we do. And circularity is a big factor for us going forward. It's about recycling and reuse of products. That's really, we think, the key in the future.
The construction industry is really embracing sustainability. It's become part of law. The other element, I think, is that there's been a change in public perception, and it's almost now, there's a much larger amount of awareness for sustainability, and all businesses, including construction, are starting to implement sustainability measures, not just because there is law to it, but because it's what's starting to get demanded from our customers and our clients. But it starts with law, and I think as soon as something starts becoming mandatory, bulk of the industry follow, and we're seeing that through the planning system. We're seeing the higher requirements of sustainability required in every single development, especially that we build as well. So we'll need to provide certain reports and do certain analysis just at the design phase to make sure that the building that we're trying to achieve is going to really, meet those targets of sustainability. So that's the beginning. And then I think it filters down from there into the actual construction of the building itself, and then incorporating all of the sustainability strategies that were kind of initiated at design stage to make sure that they are actually, designed to fit that particular home.
The drive towards a sustainable world / future starts with understanding where we are today. unless you know and measure where you are today, you will not be able to improve or enhance, right? That's where MachineMax comes in. Because we are a data agnostic platform and we collate the data, ingest the data from all data sources, we create a baseline for our customers and help them understand where they are on their net zero or sustainable journey. That's the first step. Then we also, with our insights platform and rules engine, we help them highlight the areas of inefficiencies. Classic example is if a machine is idling. We are talking about yellow heavy machineries here now. And when a machine is not doing any productive work and just turned on, it is consuming gazillions of fuel, and lots and lots of emissions are going into the climate, right? So helping them understand where are the inefficiencies, our platform can highlight the areas or the pockets of inefficiencies, which can help customers take decisions very quickly, very fast. And so that's the first, that's the second step. Third step is we work with the customers to understand what do they want to achieve, where they are on their sustainable journey. Some customers are starting their journey, some of them are in the middle of the journey, some are quite digitally advanced. And we cater the platform as per them. Customers who are starting their journey, we provide the baselines. Who are in the middle of the journey, we help them integrate, understand, massage the data for them. And who are already digitally advanced, we create the automation and workflows for them.
Yeah, so I think in terms of recyclability is important, but I think it's really reuse that's going to be the real possibility for the business. So if you can really reuse products, recycling we already have a high recycled content in our product, but I think looking at reusing products and repurposing products, I think is really where it's going to be at. A couple of our examples of what we do in terms of talking about reuse. We've worked a lot with the train industry. So now that we make specialist floor covering for trains, we actually have a Velcro back, which means that the product is adhered with Velcro. Basically, when the train comes to be refurbed, it can be refurbed in days rather than in weeks. And that saves a huge amount of time, a huge amount of mess, and a huge amount of waste. And it means that we can get that product back, recycle it, and or reuse it. Similarly, if you talk about reuse, we've got a partnership with the Salvation Army. What we do now, we've worked with a lot of big end users, for example, Lloyds as an example, Lloyds Banking Group, and we've worked with them to reuse some of their carpet tiles and some of their LVT, and we work with the Salvation Army. They take those tiles and then reuse them in projects like, for example, social housing. So it's a great example of where we can act as a support for all our materials being reused, extending their life, cleaning them back up again and reusing them in sectors that maybe couldn't afford the new tiles themselves.
Companies are committed to reducing carbon emissions, whether it's through internal working practices or by helping clients on their individual sustainability journeys.
The way that we help homeowners reduce their carbon footprint is simply by implementing those sustainability measures earlier on. So we design for them, we put them into the houses, and when the homeowners move into those houses, they're automatically and unknowingly, most of the time, being more sustainable. So some of these examples are, we make sure that we build quite a robust building to reduce things like air leakage, so that therefore you would use less energy to heat your house. We put in solar panels, which would be enhancing solar energy, which can be then converted to electricity for the home. We also use air source heat pumps, which are now very, very popular. And that almost replaces the need for gas. So you are using very much abundant air, and then that is heating and warming the water and warming the house. We would also take it a step further and put in sanitary ware so that we can reduce the amount of water usage as well. So all of these different things combined automatically mean that when someone lives in one of our homes, that they are already living a more sustainable life.
The way that MachineMax approaches delivering on sustainability metrics in the UK is predominantly to look at idling. So we work with customers who have heavy equipment, and at the moment, because of availability of alternative fuels, diesel is a very real part of those industries and probably will be for some time. So rather than, obviously it's very important to look at the alternatives, but we also need to manage the here and now, and there's big opportunity there for our customers. So we look at the utilisation of the assets, the plant and equipment, diggers for want of a better word, that they're using. We understand where they're using them, how effectively they're using them, and one of the key metrics for us is looking at idle time. So that's when a piece of equipment isn't being used and it's idling, so it's burning fuel unnecessarily and in an unproductive manner.
So in the sustainability team, we pull reports from MachineMax and distribute them to the site teams. We also integrate the dashboards onto our site digital screens to make that data more accessible to the workforce. By having that engagement piece with the workforce, we've been encouraging the behaviour change from themselves rather than being dictated to by us in either the office or by management. We found that the people who are in the plant and who are using the plant day to day often have the best experience and knowledge on the system, and they can deliver the best solutions for us to implement as a group. So that's been quite important to what we've done to achieve our sustainability goals.
MachineMax helps our clients with their sustainability goals more than ours. Now, MachineMax gives them an avenue to keep on top of them sustainability demands, not only to look attractive for the tier one clients and assist with that, but also their own business, save pounds and pennies on fuel burn, that kind of thing, and allow them a platform that is actually user-friendly and makes sense.
The Green Building Council reports that for over 40% of carbon emissions come from the construction industry globally, and that's obviously a huge number and something that we need to address collectively. At Forbo, we're really focusing on renewable raw materials, which reduce carbon emissions, circular products, meaning that at the end of life, they're not just sent to landfill or waste to energy, they're actually reused or recycled back into our products. We're really proud to be working with the Salvation Army on this new carpet tile take-back scheme. The initiative involves the uplift and reuse of old carpet tiles which are taken up from corporate refurbishments and renovations. The reused carpet tiles will then be distributed via the Salvation Army furniture shops, meaning that local communities have access to affordable, high-quality flooring.
It's important for manufacturers to consider reuse in their business model. Even if you do a small bit of research, you'll find that flooring is a huge problem in the UK, with many properties without any flooring. As producers of these products, with all the effort and time that goes into making them, we want to make sure these live out their useful lifespan. So the partnership has had a massive impact since we launched it. We've had these offered into our donation centres, and since we have, we've had a surge of people coming to buy them, which only tells you how big the problem is. This has also allowed us to partner with a UK council who use their hardship fund to help those in need by providing them with flooring.
From unrealistic customer expectations to a lack of available resources to help transition to net zero, there are many challenges companies within the industry are facing.
So some of our main challenges converting to net zero are the cost and logistics are a big one, and then the procurement of and working with companies that are on board with it as well. We obviously import a lot from abroad because of the market and the price point we're in. We're quite a luxury developer, so a lot of our materials come from abroad. Our kitchens are German, our bathrooms are Italian, our floor tiles are also Italian. We also import a lot of building products from Sweden. So the main issue is obviously because we import, that really affects us. And in the UK, there isn't enough industry to support going net zero. You know, for what we do, trying to find suppliers that and manufacturers in the UK that can facilitate it is a struggle, because we're behind. the rest of Europe is overtaking us. So that's our main challenge at the moment.
Implementing projects across the globe, across multiple sites and multiple customers, is a massive challenge. It can be a challenge for various reasons. So the first might be the customer themselves might be a challenge. So that customer might be quite a fragmented organization, and a head office coming in and saying, we're implementing this technology in order to monitor or pull certain data, you have to install these sensors, etc., etc. If that organization is not pulling together as one, you can have a lot of resistance from individual sites who essentially tell head office that they're not interested, or they'll do it as a tick box exercise because someone told them, and then there's no use of the system from then on. So that can be a very big challenge. The other challenge can just be a project management issue, right? If you have 1,000 sensors across 70 different countries around the world, if you try to do that all in one go, you're going to lose track of where something is. Has it been delivered? Has it been installed? Has it been implemented? So project management is massive. A phased approach, understanding how you can implement first on a few sites who are excited about technology, do the implementation there, train them up, get them using it, and then get those sites to tell the other sites, this is a great system, you guys should really get it. So you start to get buy-in from word of mouth, because one site manager will trust another site manager. They're not necessarily going to trust Juliet, who they've never met, and are not entirely sure if I have an agenda or am just selling for the sake of selling. So that buy-in is massively important as well. And then, yeah, I mean, anything else you can imagine with doing a global rollout, shipping issues, people not collecting sensors, issues with customs. Like, there are many a story I could tell you about it, because we've done 3 major global rollouts now with customers. So there's a lot of learnings that have come from it. And yeah, I think phasing the approach and getting buy-in, it's your most important thing when you do large-scale rollouts.
I think there's an element of education and skills that you need to put through. So you need to look at the long-term value to really get sustainability to the core. I think you also need to deal with short-term cost pressures. But ultimately, for us as a business, we need to give the client everything that they want and sustainability. So people don't want to compromise at all on sustainability. So we need to give them everything that they want, plus that sustainability angle, which we really try to focus on, really try to focus hard on that. From a design perspective, I think the design community is absolutely leading that. But I think at every stage of construction now, we're seeing much more interest in sustainability, in recycling, in reuse. So I think people are really starting to get the message. It's just, how can we balance that against short-term cost pressures, which also come into construction? So I think the long term is looking very good. It's just the short term we need to increase the education, increase the skills, and as manufacturers, we need to give you the right products.
The government can do a lot to support sustainability in the UK, and a lot of that work is to do with the way that it deals with businesses, starting with law, making sustainability a legal requirement, which they are in the process of doing. The second then is facilitating that law into reality and making sure that the businesses have the support that they need to take on those measures. The government can also, I think, help spread awareness. The more awareness that they spread means that our customers, our clients are demanding or expecting businesses to take those measures. And I think it has to be double-sided, and also to make sure that businesses that are being more sustainable are not necessarily penalized by increase of costs or having to pass those costs on to their customers. So there's a little bit of work, I think, that can be done from the government to support businesses that are taking the leap to try and be more sustainable and to make sure that they can then compete on some sort of an equal playing field.
The UK government is putting in place lots of good planning documents, lots of good strategies to support our industry in its digitisation process. Of course, there's always more that can be done. So I think investment is key, investment in people, investment in resources, investment in infrastructure projects, because that's generally where we see growth and opportunity in the UK. The other thing that I think is key is creating longer term strategy. So we all know that we are in a period of instability. People are nervous about how long strategies will be implemented, what will a changing government cause. And so that uncertainty tends to breed hesitation. So I think anything that governments can do to shore up long-term strategies and make commitments that go beyond a government's lifespan is a good thing for our industry and for technology in general. What would be really helpful is continued investment in things like innovation programs. So at Machine Max, we're really lucky to have been involved in a couple of innovation or accelerator programs with key government projects or clients. And that really helps a small business like ours to get to know some of the tier one contractors and for them to start to understand how we can support them, but also for us as a business to fully understand the challenges that they're coming up against and how we can, from a completely different perspective, find solutions. So I think creating environments where you can have very established businesses working with new businesses only creates better innovation and better change.
I think there's probably three things, really. I think, first of all, I think they need to be a good buyer of sustainable solutions. I think the UK is a big procurer, and if government buildings have a high sustainability standard, I think that's great. I think number two, I think there's obviously the regulatory framework. I think they can do things within regulation to encourage businesses and buildings to be more sustainable. And the final one is providing the infrastructure for training. Again, we really believe that training and education is the route to improving sustainability in the whole construction industry.
Companies have a bright future ahead and are increasingly adopting advanced technologies and sustainable practices to enhance their efficiency and improve their line of service.
Our development in the next 10 years, I think, is bright. As I think the construction industry obviously has a future, and as long as you evolve with it, as a company, we will succeed. We have a very good ethos. We build a good product. We supply a good product. We look after our end users. So I think Amara will evolve with the market. You know, we build a good family home, and that's important, and that's what people are looking for. I think COVID still rings in people's ears for wanting more space, wanting to be able to work from home. And we build good family houses and we always, our interior design teams look at end user always, having home office space, having good green space around your house. You know, we don't want people to feel claustrophobic in their homes or that they can't open the doors and go sit in the garden. It's really important. So we have a really bright future because we care about our end users, and I think that's important. Whereas a lot of development companies only look at their profit margin. Yes, profit margin is important to us because without it we can't move to the next development, but ultimately our end user would probably be our number one concern.
So I think that it's a really exciting time for Machine Max at the moment. We are 5 years old. We've seen lots of change. We've seen lots of engagement from the industries that we work in. And I hope that that continues. And I think what that will bring is lots of new opportunities for us. So one of Machine Max's kind of core values is that we are an open system and we want to provide what our customers need. So we've always said we have open API. We can deliver APIs back out to our customers if they don't want to use our platform. And so in this world where we've got lots and lots of new innovations and lots of new technologies coming to market, I think that our flexibility in how we surface data and where we get data from and who we give it back to means that we will not just be an equipment management solution. We will start to be an overall solution provider to our customers, where we're looking at the end-to-end of their business operation and helping them to finesse those workflows as they go through across a myriad of different business units, and that's super cool.
So yeah, we've been on the site here in Kirkcaldy, we've been making floor covering for over 150 years, and we've been manufacturing here for over 200 years, a variety of products. So I think that legacy and our exceptional length of service amongst our staff give us lots of experience. That never guarantees anything in the future, but from that base you can provide long-term proof of principle that you know what you're doing. We've got great long-term investment here. We've invested millions over many years, and I think we've got a great brand, great reputation, and I think that covers globally. We're globally known for making the products that we do and export it all over the world. We are very confident that we are doing our bit. What we're trying to work on now is how we can look at the whole cycle of the product, not just making it, but how it's used and how it's disposed of at the end of its life, and whether or not we can reuse it, whether or not we can recycle it. That's really where the game is in the next 10 to 20 years.
From embracing advanced technologies to implementing eco-friendly practices, this proactive green approach not only ensures compliance, but also contributes to a healthier environment and a more resilient future for generations to come.